All right, everybody, if you have not seen the news, super investors like Warren Buffett are reporting their 13Fs, the stocks they bought this quarter, and Warren Buffett opened a big position in Taiwan Semiconductor. It is a multi-billion-dollar position, and he shot the stock up 11% today, which is just insane. It happened to be my number 2 position. I'm going to talk about why I bought it in the first place, why I think Warren Buffett bought it, other than following my YouTube channel and wanting to own the companies I own. Just kidding. And then what I'm planning to do in the future. If I think the stock is now overvalued, if I'm thinking about selling, if I'm going to add, what I'm thinking about doing. If you don't know me, I'm Austin. I'm sharing my portfolio very transparently and my entire investing journey right here on YouTube. I am not recommending anybody follow what I do. I just want to share my lessons learned and the ups and the downs of investing in individual stocks. Most people are better off just investing in a simple S&P 500 index fund with enough time. Investing in the S&P 500 has historically proven to generate incredible wealth. Portfolio is up almost $6,000 today. Over the last week, we're up $20,000, but all time we're down about $8,000, which I started this portfolio on February 15th, 2022. We're sitting at $124,400. Here are my top positions. Meta is a $24,000 position, has had an incredible week, up over 20%. Taiwan Semi, $12,000, up 24%. Shopify, $12,000 position, up 22%. Snowflake, Rocket Lab, you can see the positions. These haven't changed if you've been watching my channel. Kind of incredible though. GitLab's up 30% this week. Cloudflare's up 39%. Do you remember when they reported earnings and the stock got crushed? Mongo Database and Bill are each up over 25%. And so what's happening with the portfolio? We saw it tick down a little bit, or at least it came in under expectations. When that happened, people's expectations that the Fed was going to have to keep raising interest rates and combat inflation, those expectations started to get reined in. People are getting less bullish, which you would think is a bad thing. But the big fear right now is inflation and rising interest rates. That's very bad for growth stocks. And so the short-term reaction has been that these things have shot up. The question is, what do we do now? Do we sell? Am I supposed to sell everything if things shot up too high? I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Actually, I'll just share my general plan right now, right? I have talked about on this channel wanting to add about $3,000 a month to this portfolio, which is a lot of money, right? But I've actually, since I started this thing on February 15th, I've invested way ahead of schedule. And I did that because I thought the market was dropping irrationally, at least giving me a long-term buying opportunity. I was very wrong, and I'm still probably wrong. Stocks are still probably going to correct and go lower from here. The recent jump has just been insane. And so what that leaves me at is I'm not intending to sell anything. I don't plan on selling anything, but I certainly plan on slowing the pace of buying things because I have invested ahead of my goals. And so what will likely happen is I will probably start to build up a bit of a cash position in the portfolio with new contributions that I can then deploy opportunistically. I have a big lump sum of money in the market now that is going to continue to go up if these stocks I own go up. But because I don't think things go straight up and I want to be prepared for if things turn south again, I'm going to take the opportunity to raise some cash with new money that comes into the account. I will share that entire journey here transparently. So let's get to why I think Warren Buffett bought a multi-billion-dollar position in Taiwan Semi, right? First of all, I think if we talk about Taiwan Semiconductor's business, they are one of the most important businesses for tech companies and really the economy, in my opinion, in the world, because they are one of the only companies in the world that provides the wafers that they do, which goes into all of these semiconductors that we use on a regular basis. And so what Buffett likes to do is he likes to invest in companies that have wide moats, right? And Taiwan Semi has one of the widest moats because of the time and technology and expertise it takes to produce these things and build these factories, but also because of the expenses, right? $30 billion in capital expenditures over the last 12 months. If you look at these other, chip-related companies, NVIDIA's at $1.2 billion, Broadcom's at $390 million. The only one that's even close is Intel, right? And they have nowhere near the capacity that Taiwan Semi has. They're trying to build it, but they are nowhere close to the capacity or the expertise that Taiwan Semi has. I'm actually interested in Intel as an investment too, which I've talked about in a previous video. Whoops. So this is just incredible, right? I mean, I don't think he bought this because of the dividend, but could you imagine making a 2.5% dividend on a multi-billion-dollar position? But anyways, TSM pays a nice dividend. That's why one of the reasons I bought it. A low payout ratio, which is going to give them the ability to increase that dividend over time. They do have a lot of CapEx expenses, so I wouldn't expect it to get increased insanely, but over the last 3 years, they've increased it at 5% per year on compounding annual growth rate, and over the last 5 years, they've increased it at 10%. So you're getting paid more dividends every single year you own this stock. I love that. Okay, the other reason I think Buffett went in on TSM is because it's trading at one of the lowest PEs that is traded at in recent history, and it's very reasonable. We know Buffett as a value investor. If we look 3 years out, based on estimated earnings, it's trading at a price to earnings ratio under 10. One of the most important companies in the world with one of the most durable moats in the world, trading at under a 10 price to earnings ratio 3 years out. Nvidia, again, up to near 30, Broadcom near 12, Texas Instruments near 20, Qualcomm under 11, and then Intel right at 11, but the growth just isn't there and the execution hasn't been there for Intel. Again, Intel might be a sleeper though. And this is what I'm talking about. You get that type of value, that type of price to earnings low multiple for 37% year-over-year revenue growth, 18% looking forward, and they've grown it at 25 and 16% over the last 3 and 5 years. If we jump over to Intel, that's where Intel's cheap right now, but look, they don't have the growth to back it up, right? So to me, Taiwan Semi is just so much more interesting. And then especially when we get to profitability, right? Gross profit margin, 57%, right up there with Nvidia, which is a lot more software based. Broadcom's at 75, which is great. Texas Instruments 69, Qualcomm 57, and Intel down at 46. So again, a better, the comparison here is really Taiwan Semi and Intel. Net income margin 42%, which pretty much crushes everybody except for Texas Instruments, and just strong all around. Strong cash position, $47 billion on the balance sheet. They do have $27 billion in debt, but they've got enough cash to cover that. So they're in a very strong position. Again, that's a difference between them and Intel, where Intel's got $22 billion in cash and $39 billion in total debt for a $15 billion net debt. Now we're going to talk about Taiwan Semi's valuation compared to their historical valuation, right? This blue line is its average price to earnings multiple over the history of the stock. Really, it's since 2002. We can see its average price to earnings ratio has been 19, and the average earnings growth rate has been about 22. So now if we just look at the last 10 years, since 2012, we see 17.5% average earnings growth and a normal price to earnings ratio of 18. Okay, according to this, the blended price to earnings ratio is 12, which is way below its historical average. Now, it got way high in 2021, which is why the stock has come down so much. But even before that, it was trading at 18. It was trading at 18. Show me another time that it's been down at 12, and it's very hard to find. I mean, you see it in 2016 and back in 2015. So 2015, 2016 is the last time that this happened. And the semiconductor industry is cyclical, but they're getting more and more ingrained in everything. And the cycle is changing a little bit to where I don't think they're going to have such a boom and bust cycle. But you could just see how strong this company's been over time. Since 2012, they've grown earnings from $1.10 per share to $4.16. Expected to have $6.11 in 2022, the end of this year. Drop a little bit next year, and then back up to $6.94 in 2024. So just based off these estimates down here, if they get back up to a price to earnings ratio of 18, you're looking at a 31% annualized rate of return from now until 2024. I don't think they necessarily even have to. Even if they get up to a PE of 14, you're still looking at 19% just about annualized return, which is just legendary returns and will make me very happy over the long term, right? So I have no intention of selling my position, but I certainly do appreciate the Buffett bump. If you like this video and you like this content, you like the transparency, the best way you could support me for free is to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If this video gets 100 likes, I will do a teardown of Tattoo Chef. So I did a warning, 4 worst stocks to buy. This is in October after a popular YouTuber came out with a video pushing these trash stocks, Oatly, Tattoo Chef, Beyond, and Honest. Yesterday, if you look, I did a video to avoid Oatly. Tattoo Chef just came out and reported almost the worst earnings you possibly could report. They said revenue of 235 to 245 million, down from prior guidance of 280 to 285. And gross margin 0 to 3%, down from 8 to 10%, and shares are down almost 12% after hours. So if you want to see that video, like this video, and I will do a follow-up video on how horrible Tattoo Chef is.